Yes,
Yes.
we're live.
Woohoo! Welcome back to Combination. If you've been here
Welcome
before,
to Combination. We are glad you're here. We're
yes, we
doing yet another evening of lovely trivia all about the scary, scary monsters because we are getting ready for Halloween.
are.
Yes, we
Yep,
are. Yes, we are. And
All Hallows
tonight,
Eve coming soon.
and tonight, we're talking about Vampirella because everybody
Yeah,
knows Vampirella. Everybody knows
sure.
that outfit. Just nobody
Mm-hmm.
knows a lot about her.
Nope.
So let's talk about Vampirella.
Yeah.
Let's get started. If you're playing with us live, and we hope you are, type in
Yes.
the code, use the scan the QR thingamabobble. That's a technical term. And hey, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a yes, give us,
Give us an X slash formerly known as the tweet
exactly. Join our mailing list and yeah,
and play along.
exactly.
It's fun.
All right,
Yeah.
ready for the first question?
Yeah. Let's go.
Vampirella was originally created by Forrest J. Ackerman and
Trina Robbins.
correct. Now, if you know Trina Robbins, and Todd and I know Trina Robbins,
Nice
she's
lady.
awesome.
Yes.
Very nice lady.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote one of the preeminent, iconic female creators, 100 Years of Women in Comics, done a lot of stuff with Wonder Woman, one
Yep.
of the founders of Friends of
Friends of Lulu.
Lulu, the Women in Comics organization. And yeah, apparently helped design Vampirella's outfit as well as come up with her overall look.
Yeah, because she's a great designer on top of everything else. So
Exactly.
knows what to make
And
things sell.
if you see Trina, tell her we said hey.
Absolutely.
So, but Todd, for no additional points, you remember who wrote the first or who drew the first cover of Vampirella, right?
That'd be Frank Frazetta.
Yes. Oh my God, so good.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that first cover, Vampirella debuted.
Well, because she's kind of eternal. But clear back in September of '69.
Correct. And Vampirella, when she debuted in '69, she was a black and white comic.
Mm-hmm.
And while it might be common these days, somebody decides to do black and white because it's an artistic choice.
Yeah.
Black and white comic meant something in 1969.
Kind of meant they were going for that kind of edgier, more violent, more racy.
More race. Think of it as like an R or NC-17 rating. A black and white comic back in the day meant it wasn't for the kids. It wasn't for code.
Nope.
You know.
And it was black and white. You could show all the blood you wanted. Nobody noticed because it wasn't in red.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
Not so much.
Now, Vampirella came out in '69, was inspired by the movie. What movie was she inspired by?
Not the Vampirella movie, because we're not talking about that. It was inspired by Barbarella, which is another cool type movie.
Okay, so Barbarella is a goofy, sexy movie that came out in 1968. Nowadays, we would consider it goofy.
Yeah.
In 1968, it was very like risque, cutting edge.
Mm-hmm. Helped make a star out of Jane Fonda.
Exactly. And and
ironically, based on a French comic.
Exactly, the French comic, which was very much published in black and white, or would have, because like Vampirella, it was fun and it was funny and it was silly and it was sexy and it was violent and all of that.
Yeah.
But again, want to take a moment to say, because we cover a lot of ground here at Combination. Mm-hmm. Vampirella, still to this day, very violent, very graphic. There's gore. And then there's also there's sex. There's a lot. if you're going to be triggered by this, if you don't think this is appropriate for you,
definitely not one to show the kids.
Exactly. Keep the kids away from it. It's a good book. It's a fun book. It's a, etc. But it's not a kid's book.
It's got an R rating for a reason, usually.
I'd even go to NC-17.
Mm-hmm. In some cases.
Now, which of these hasn't published Vampirella?
That would be the wonderful publisher of Kingston Comics. Purveyors of fine religious comics worldwide.
Yeah, they do a lot of Christian comics based on Bible stories, and Vampirella is just the
so much not that.
So Vampirella was originally published by Warren Publishing.
Yes.
And Warren was already doing creepy and eerie, but Warren stopped publication in 1983, I think. Yep. And then Harris Publications began publishing Vampirella. And Todd, for no additional point, what was Harris Publications' most popular and flagship publication?
Well, because they were actually a magazine publisher, and their big public title was Guitar World.
Yes, closely followed by Celebrity Hairstyles. So, and Fresh Quilts.
Fresh Quilts.
Your mom got that.
One of my mom's favorite books. Yeah, all about quilting. If you're into
and then they were trying to. Then they got Vampirella.
Sure.
But and
cover all the markets.
And then in 2010, our friends in Dynamite started publishing Vampirella, which is good. They're coming up with new stories. They're gathering up some of the older material.
It's nice collections.
There's some really gorgeous art books out there. But again, did we mention
an anime series?
Now, according to original continuity, Vampirella comes from where?
From a place called Draculon.
Correct. Now, when Vampirella was first published, with Warren Publishing, she was kind of a horror show hostess. Creepy and Eerie that we mentioned, that was Uncle Creepy
and Cousin Eerie
and Vampirella.
Yeah.
What an awkward family dinner. And it was like a hostess situation. They would introduce the one shot, etc., and then they would go away. But then, Todd, what happened in 1970?
Well, long time, actually back then, relatively new creator, a little guy named Archie Goodwin, who went on to do all sorts of amazing things with Batman, Manhunter, a bunch of other stuff, decided to turn Vampirella into an actual character. Give her a backstory, give her an origin, set her up as
made up
Dracula.
The place known as Dracula.
Yes. Because everybody's got to have a home. Right? Right.
Now, according to original continuity, what is Draculon?
It is a tiny little planet of his own full of vampires. Or vampire-like people.
Did we mention Barbarella, which was like a sci-fi science fiction planet thing? Yeah. So Vampirella, to be clear, Vampirella is a vampire. Hope that wasn't a spoiler for anyone.
Yeah.
But Vampirella came from a vampire planet. She's an alien vampire from space. And
for those of you who might know it, think of the movie Life Force.
Or don't. But again, in original continuity, I think it was a situation where some, evil folks from Draculon had sort of come to Earth and infected folks and, made what we knew commonly as vampires. So she came she left her home planet and came to Earth to kill all the vampires because, Vampirella is a vampire who kills and hunts other vampires.
Yeah.
But again, because she's a different kind of vampire, certain things that hurt and harm vampires as we know it does not impact her. Not so much.
Not so much. She can get a tan if she wants, I think.
I don't think she can get a tan. What would she do with the tan lines with that outfit? Oh my. Now, according to current continuity, who is Vampirella's mother?
That would be the wonderful woman Lilith, mother of all demons.
Yes. So Lilith, according to folklore, was Adam's first wife, and depending on how the story goes, she wanted equality with Adam, which was considered to be an evil thing. So she was banished to hell and became the mother of demons and Vampirella. Because,
or maybe she's just my ex-wife. Who knows? Still.
Yes. She's the patron saint of alimony, divorce, and blood-sucking lawyers.
Like we said, demons.
Now, in current continuity, Vampirella's been killed. But then she got better. Hope that's not a spoiler. Who killed Vampirella?
That would be Mistress Nyx.
Correct. Now, Mistress Nyx is one of Vampirella's longtime supervillains. One of her longtime
major nemesis.
Exactly. And Mistress Nyx is cranky. Mistress Nyx is half human, half demon, and hates all humanity a lot.
All burn, so to speak.
Exactly. She's having, and and in current continuity, she's killed Vampirella, and then Vampirella got better.
Came back.
Now, in the beginning of the Vampirella series, Vampirella fights.
That would be Silas Clayton. Not to do a little Norman bait and switch there, but
Yes. Silas Clayton. He's an evil vampire.
Yep. But kills vampires. What she does.
But when Mistress Nyx went out there and killed Vampirella, she had help.
Yes, she did.
She had help from Hemorrhage, who's another longtime villain. Who's got a special superpower.
He's psychokinetic. Means he can manipulate things with his mind, pick things up and move them.
And he seems to do special things with blood. And by the way, if you're looking at this image and you're thinking, wow, this is super graphic. No, that's
pretty standard for Vampirella.
Yeah. So again, it's a graphic book. There's gore. There's
blood.
Yeah. Lots of blood.
Skimpy costumes. Stylish, but skimpy.
So the story starts where?
Well, appropriately taking a bite out of the Big Apple of New York.
Correct.
Good for the
story starts in The story starts in New York, or more specifically Manhattan. I can tell you proudly, Queens, vampire free.
Yeah, all the vampires are in Brooklyn.
With Eddie Murphy.
That's right.
Now, in New York, who is head of the New York vampire clan?
Because, you got to have one. That'd be Pissarro. Otherwise, Monsignor Pissarro, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, Monsignor. Because just in case the sex and the blood and the gore and the violence, there's also some serious sacrilege going on.
Yeah.
Kingston is never going to publish his title ever. No. So, there's a lot. Keep it away from the kids. be warned, be ready. It's a good book. It's a fun book. It's funny. It's sexy. It's smart. But there's a lot that you might be like,
Just be careful when you put your tongue firmly in cheek to read this. You don't cut it on your fangs. That's all we're saying.
that would be fantastic.
Little biting humor there.
Now, Pissarro,
Yes.
who's head of the vampires,
Mm-hmm.
he wants to attack the New York mob.
Yeah.
Who does he send to go attack the New York mob?
That would be, of all people, Von Creest.
Now, Von Creest is a relatively new Vampirella villain.
Yes.
He's
continuity.
Yeah, in terms of continuity. He's a former Prussian World War I officer.
Right. So he's kind of old, but he's new to the book.
And spoiler alert, he's not a vampire.
No.
But he is immortal, pretty much. Well, parts of him are immortal. Parts of him aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's got a working relationship with, could it be
Satan?
Satan?
Yeah, he and Satan play cards.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to know more about him, read the book.
The devil made him do it.
Yeah. Now, the New York mob. We're talking about the New York mob in the Vampirella book.
Right.
Who's the leader of the New York mob?
That'd be Don Fatoni. Yes. Different than the leader of the Backstreet Boys mob, which is
Joey Fatone. And different from in other continuities where, yes, it is Don Corleone who's head of the New York.
Yeah.
But Don Fatoni, and talking more about Don Fatoni, he has 2 daughters.
Yes.
He has 2 daughters that are not mice.
No, not mousy at all.
His daughters are
Dixie and Pixie, which ironically is the name of 2 cartoon mice.
Exactly.
But
it's like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, right?
Yep, along with a cat named Mr. Jinx, which, also sounds like a Vampirella villain, but
Mr. Jinx does not sound like a Vampirella villain. If you were going to tell me that the cat was named Von Christ, I would be like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dixie and Pixie Fatoni, because, okay. Yeah. But they are sisters. They are twin sisters, not identical, but twin sisters. And they did that thing where they called the twins similar names because it's cute and everybody does it.
Yeah.
And
the twins
stuff,
hate it.
Stuff happens to the daughters that are, there's some triggering stuff in here. But stuff happens that just, yeah, exactly. We're looking at monsters. There's monsters in this book, but let's just say after Dixie and Pixie, some awkward family dinner, really gross, kind of awkward.
Yeah. Right along there with Uncle Creepy and Cousin Eerie. Just saying. Careful when you pass the mashed potatoes.
I need my gravy red. Okay. We are talking tonight about Vampirella, specifically the Master Series.
Yes.
And currently published by Dynamite, who is pleased to present the collected work of Grant Morrison and Mike Millar, who had this incredible run on Vampirella.
Yes.
Both Grant and Mark are very talented, innovative, legendary talents. And along this book, they had graphic help from Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, Brian Haberlin, Michael Baer, Kevin Nolan, and other folks.
Others, yes.
That I have.
Good looking stuff.
So, and again, Amanda Connor is very nice. And she did a lot of stuff for Archie. She did a lot of stuff for Marvel. She does a lot of stuff for
DC.
For Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And all I'm going to say is, Amanda, I'm still waiting to see some Star Maidens. Jimmy Palmiotti is both a writer and an inker of comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And he does, and he writes for comics, he writes for games, he writes for television, he writes for film. And we already told you, Grant Morrison, he does comic books. He writes movies. I mean,
yeah, worked on lots of different properties.
Good and stuff. He always has a weird and wacky way of looking at continuity and stories.
Yes.
And, Mike Millar, I mostly remember him from Wildstorm stuff.
Yeah, and did some of the Ultimate stuff for Marvel. Kind of that. Exactly. One of the big things he's known for is being the one who helped kind of create the idea that Nick Fury would look like Samuel Jackson.
So that's it for us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We hope we didn't scare you too much. Maybe just enough.
Just enough.
Again, subscribe, like, follow, tweet, Twix, whatever. Send us an email. Send us an email. And tell us what you think about comic books these days. Which comic books are you reading? Which comic books do you want us to cover? Which comic creators do you want us to get in touch with? Because, yes, I'm still working on that one.
Yep.
And again, what do you like about our show? What do you not like? What do you like about my hair? I don't like a lot about it right now. Send us an email. We're lonely.
Yeah. You want to see more blood, less blood, no blood?
Young blood.
True
blood.
True bloods. We're
but
talking Young Blood the Gang or Young Blood the Liefeld book or...
Watch us go down rabbit holes and never come back. But above all, please...
read more comics. Because comics are cool, kids.
Maybe not this one for the kids, though.
Not for the kids, but, kids, figuratively speaking. Like, all you hip cats out there reading